Malicious Faces. The Malicious Face is a grounded, super heavy lesser demon. They can fire 6 hell projectiles, dealing 25 damage, or a beam that creates a 50 damage explosion and is aimed to predict your next location. It will create a large explosion on contact with a surface, core, or rocket, but will intentionally try to nuke a rocket if the player is riding it. They will only use this attack if you are within 100 units of them, unless on a rocket. When hitting a coin, it will cause an insta-kill chargeback. On violent difficulty, when below 50% health, they will become enraged, firing 2 beams in a row and using the beam attack much more often. They have 15 health, though the boss variant has 25, and take 200% damage from ground slams, 150% damage from nails, 150% damage from impact hammers, and 0% damage from explosions unless covered in gasoline. Though they look like flying enemies, they have thin legs, making them grounded, allowing them to conduct electricity from other enemies and being targeted by stalkers. To sand itself, faces will lower themselves to get near the stalker. When a malicious face dies, if the face is not destroyed by slams or a cannonball, it will fall down, crushing and killing any enemies underneath them. There are some exceptions to this, being Gabriel, Mind Flayers, and Ferrymen, which will dodge the face, or the Insurrectionist that will only take 22 damage and be stunned. It will also create a shockwave upon landing and get lodged into the ground. It can still be whiplash and destroyed with a slam or cannonball, though there is no shockwave or corpse left behind in the cyber grind. There are many quick kills for the malicious face, such as some mix of parries, knuckle blaster punches, shotgun attacks, or impact hammer hits. They can be killed in one shot with a high-speed impact hammer hit, a well-timed sharpshooter shot against their orbs, a chargeback on their beam, or rail coining them with a single coin. Cerberus. Cerberus is a heavy, grounded lesser demon. Before activating, they will sit still and not take damage. After being activated, they will stand up before starting to move and act like an enemy. Cerberi slowly walk towards you when not attacking and have 3 attacks. They can throw a parryable orb, creating a 20 damage explosion. When nearby, they can dash into you, knocking you back and dealing 25 damage, possibly causing them to fall off ledges if enraged. And a stomp, creating a shockwave, dealing 25 damage. When a Cerberus dies, all other active Cerberus will enrage, getting increased move and attack speed. Cerberus usually have 22 health, though some bosses or hidden Cerberi may have more. They take bonus damage from head and limb shots, 150% damage from rockets, and 200% damage from cannonballs. For a common Cerberus, their weakness to cannonballs makes them one of the best methods to take them out. A cannonball dunk alone is enough to kill one, and the cannonball can pierce to another Cerberus. Otherwise, rockets can do large damage, killing in 5 shots, or you can insta-kill them with rail coining. The Hideous Mass. The Hideous Mass is a super heavy, grounded greater demon. They are stationary, though they will turn to face you and can stand upright or lowered, hiding their belly. They have 4 attacks determined by how they are standing. While standing upright, they can fire 2 parryable hell mortars that create 40 to 60 damage explosions. They can use a ground slam, creating a horizontal 40 damage shockwave, and must do a slam before going into their lowered position. While lowered, they can clap, creating a vertical 20 damage shockwave, dealing 40 damage if you're caught between the arms, and firing a parryable harpoon that deals 25 damage if it hits you and severely slows you. This can be dislodged by punching it or dealing 6 damage to the tail. When the harpoon is parried, it will do 30 damage to the Hideous Mass, which is half of the standard mass's health, and the parry damage is multiplied by the mass's radiance damage multiplier. When below 33% health or 20% for the boss of 1-3, they will enrage, rolling over, exposing their belly, and only using the Hell Mortar attack. The common Hideous Mass has 60 health and the boss has 175. The stony areas deflect attacks, but the lighter red on the belly and tail take 300% damage. And the belly also takes an additional 150% limb shot damage from standard revolvers. While their 60 health may seem large, the 300% weakness makes it functionally 20 health if you always hit those areas, which is less health than Cerberus. Using nails is fast and easy, saws circling the belly can hit the tail, but an instant but more difficult way is rail coining. And the boss of 1-3 can be skipped with the secret bar of soap. Idols. An idol is a super heavy grounded lesser demon. While they are alive, they will bless nearby enemies, making them invulnerable to all attacks and unable to be hit with the whiplash. If an idol is radiant, it will make their target become radiant upon being destroyed. They will always prioritize enemies with a higher rank, which is a stat that all enemies have, stronger enemies usually having higher ranks. Idols don't take damage from any ranged attacks, only melee attacks such as punches, knuckle blaster shockwaves, impact hammer hits, or ground slams. The Leviathan. The Leviathan is a super heavy, grounded supreme demon. It has 2 phases. In the first phase, you are on a small ship with 2 hook points. The Leviathan will attack with both its head and tail. For the head, it starts with 2 attacks. First is a parryable lunge that deals 35 damage to the player. It can also fire a barrage of parryable 25 damage hell orbs and parryable 60 damage hell mortars. The tail also has 2 attacks. It can do an unparryable tail swipe at the platform or slightly above it, both dealing 35 damage. On phase 2, the boat and hook points are destroyed and replaced with the Leviathan's body, which is always circling its head. During this phase, the head gets a 3rd attack where it will continuously fire an unparryable laser as it spins around 1 to 3 times, quickly increasing its speed, dealing 35 damage if the player touches the laser. The Leviathan has 120 health per phase, or 240 total, and the heart on top of its head takes 300% damage, though the shell that makes up the Leviathan's head will deflect attacks. Some good ways of doing damage include using an explosion to push their orbs back at them, parrying their lunge, or using a high damage attack at their weak point, either by whiplashing to it or using coins. Mannequins. Mannequins are medium weight, grounded lesser demons. They are fast and can jump and crawl on walls and ceilings, and while climbing, hitting them counts as an air shot, letting rockets have red explosions. Hitting them will cause them to fall off any surface they cling to, and they can be parried while they're falling. They can fire a parryable seeker orb dealing 30 damage, or will run up and perform 2 parryable melee attacks dealing 30 each. They only have 6 health and take bonus damage from head and limb shots, as well as 150% damage from shotgun parries, though any parry is enough to kill a regular mannequin in one shot. They only take 50% of damage from explosions, however, and they are splatterable. While they are already weak, an easy way to kill them is to slam or some other way to get them mid-air, then parrying or splattering. The Minotaur. The Minotaur is a super heavy, grounded supreme demon. It is the boss of 7-1 and has 2 phases with 80 health per phase. In phase 1, you will be riding on carts as it chases you. It has 4 attacks here. First, it can swing its arm 3 times, dealing 25 damage each hit. Secondly, it can use its hammer to do a horizontal swing, and then slam down to break one of the carts. It deals 25 damage per hit, and after a short time, the cart will return with a stray riding it. The 3rd attack is a splash of acid that covers a cart and lasts a while, and dealing 15 damage per hit on standard difficulty. Finally, if you're standing on its back, it will do a 25 damage swipe to try and get you off. In this phase, shots to its head and limbs will bounce off, though the belly counts as a limb shot, taking 150% damage with the standard revolver, though using nails and conduction is a consistent way to do damage. In phase 2, the fight takes place in a normal room. It now has 5 attacks. It can charge at you dealing 50 damage if it hits you, or making the Minotaur take 6 damage if it hits a wall. They will always use this attack after any 3 other attacks. This can be parried, dealing 30 damage and stunning them. It could be parried with a feedbacker or a ground slam. They can do a combo of 4 25 damage swings, a 25 damage slam creating 35 damage explosion, and then pulling it back out of the ground creating a larger red 35 damage explosion, and 2 acid attacks where they either create a puddle of acid on the ground or a spherical cloud in the air. In this phase, one of their limbs is exposed for limb shots, as well as a part of their face for headshots. They will try to use their hand to partially cover their face when not running or attacking. Nails, saw blades, and parries make this fight pretty easy though.